Hello again, and welcome to Movie Pass Holes.
I'm Saman.
And I'm Romo.
And this week we saw Game Night.
With Jason Bateman.
With Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams and
a bunch of others.
Guy from Early Edition.
Guy from Early Edition? Oh,
yeah.
That's who that was.
Yeah, he's the guy who gets the Chicago Tribune the day before, and then it's up to him to correct all the problems in the newspaper.
On Friday Night Lights, too.
No, he's a guy from, yes he is.
I was going to say, all right, Jesus.
He's specifically a guy from Early Edition.
Okay, all right. And also...
It's my understanding he's in a great deal of things.
The son of Matt Damon and Philip Seymour Hoffman was also in it.
Jesse Plemons, the, what's his name, Todd from Breaking Bad, Creepy Todd.
Oh, so he's played creepy. He's
I
always
think
played
maybe
creepy.
he's just a creepy person.
He's an actual creepy
person.
All right, regardless.
Yeah, so anyway, those are some people who were in the movie that we saw. Now, when we went to see, we were going to see
was it Early Man?
Early Man,
yeah.
But there was some kind of
kerfuffle
with the scheduling. We ended up seeing Game Night with I had never seen a trailer for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had seen one trailer for it.
I just knew of its existence because I see it on the non-denominational, got it, film cards.
Yeah, no, I had seen a trailer for it, and I thought it looked like okay, like in the realm of like an office party, or in the realm of like an office party, or office Christmas party, horrible bosses, and that genre of stuff.
Well, it's definitely that genre film. It's directed by the same guys as Horrible Bosses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had seen that. I was like, looks interesting. I'd catch it when it came on Netflix in general. Like, it'd be like a thing. I'd be like, I binged everything.
Yeah.
Let me check this one out.
Definitely was. It seemed, from what I thought of it,
yeah.
It seemed like the kind of movie that my family and I would get on Redbox one evening and watch for $1.
Right.
Really
Yeah.
Enjoy.
It would definitely be like when I'm home. We go when we're scrolling through like the pay-per-view on like the on-demand or whatever.
Yeah.
And my parents would be like, "This looks funny."
Yeah.
And so yeah.
So we saw it, and I liked it.
I liked it. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was.
Should we? Are we saying what? Are we
non-spoilery?
Non-spoiler summary first, and then how much we like it.
Let's do that again.
All right.
How we usually do.
Well, I've prepared a statement.
Okay. Your Honor.
I would like to enter in. Okay, anyway. So there are 3 couples, and they get together every Friday night for a rousing bout of game night. They usually gather at the home of Jason Bateman and his wife, Rachel McAdams.
Which I don't remember their names, and I don't think it's important.
Max and Amy.
All right.
Told you, I have prepared a statement.
Sorry, proceed.
So, Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams, Max and Amy, a pair of Uber gamers struggling with some light relationship woes that they may or may not have to address over the course of the film. No spoilers. Jason Bateman, he feels emasculated by his older brother, his financially and aesthetically superior older brother, Early Edition. And he drops in to shake up their traditional game night by inviting them to his fancy mansion
and do a murder mystery.
Yes, the ultimate involved game night
because he's a rich man
kind of game night, and then chaos ensues.
That's a very solid statement, a very solid summary. But yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was really, really funny. Surprisingly, very, very funny.
I thought you consistently funny the whole time.
I don't think I ever got super up there, but it was like solid chuckles.
Yeah, at no point was it like, this is the most hilarious.
But it was solidly zingy, like lots of really good one-liners and callbacks.
Most of the things that were supposed to be funny were extremely funny to me.
I think we were the loudest laughers in there in the theater.
If you enjoy it.
It was, no, I fucking loved it, because the people behind us were definitely like,
yeah. They were also eating popcorn as loudly as possibly, so they weren't participating.
It felt like perfectly in line with my sense of humor, and that's, I think, why I found it really funny.
Well, also, I mean, it's clearly about, like, adult theater kids.
Right. Oh my God, that's exactly what it is.
Together. Yeah,
they're adult nerds. They're all adult nerds.
Exactly.
And, like, doing a thing, so I guess we can go into, like, the spoiler.
Oh, yeah, so we liked it, and that's the end of the non-spoilers.
The non-spoiler. Because after this part, it's really hard not to spoil it.
You can't talk about more than, like, 20 minutes of the movie without spoiling it. So, yeah. So spoilers begin now.
Right now. So yeah, so like it opens up on like, and I was a little worried at the beginning because it was a little too cutesy at the start.
Yeah, it was appealing to me pretty hard at the beginning.
Because it was like Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams meet at trivia night.
Pub trivia.
Pub trivia.
And they're on different teams.
Right.
And they're both being obnoxious about it at the same time.
Super obnoxious. Poor John Francis Daly's there with his head on his hands as the hostmaster.
Yeah.
Being like, can you please let me get to finish the question?
And he's like ordering shots of tequila for one table and then shots of water for his team.
So good.
To get the edge over pub trivia.
Trivia.
And that's where he meets Rachel McAdams and they
immediately fall in love.
Yeah, so clearly they are meant to be.
Right, they're clearly meant to be together is the idea, through thick and thin, because they are perfectly matched. And they go through like them do many game nights.
So there's a montage of their relationship escalating, and it shows them playing all different kinds of games, all different genres. So it shows that they're masters of anything competitive.
Of anything and everything.
Yeah.
Like, from trivia to arcade cabinets to charades.
Yep.
Obviously, that's a very classic.
Racing games, board games. They play DDR at their wedding, with like full-on DDR machines.
Full deal.
Yeah, like the metal base with you, not just mats.
Not just mats.
Yeah, the little bar that you hang on and stomp your feet. Yeah.
But yeah, so it was like they're very clearly into games. This is their thing. This is how they connect with it. They bonded, and it was a very nice like montage, like 5 minute, maybe not even like.
I mean, I don't think that long.
Yeah, it was good, and like they showed them like.
It showed how much games are important to them because games are heavily featured in all major aspects of their lives. He proposed to her through a game of charades.
Right, and it's very. Games are very important, and they constantly reference other games as they're throughout the movie. They're constantly making analogies to games, however terrible they may be.
Well, the whole movie is structured like a game. Yeah, but beyond just like aesthetically, like cinematography wise, all the transitions, like the establishing shots were like large board games.
Right. Yeah. When they do the first pull into their house, they look like little,
it looked like
Monopoly pieces
well,
almost.
like life.
Like life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like the little cars moving
and the
around.
cul-de-sac was like the wheel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like when the girlfriend, one of the other characters, was telling a story in a flashback, it was framed like you were looking at like a two-dimensional whatever. But yeah, the whole movie was structured like a game, and that like you sit down and you like have drinks and you get to know each other. Then you go over the rules and the game begins, and then like over time it escalates to just like insane heights. And then you're like about to flip a table.
Right. No,
yeah, it gets super serious.
It was very good. It was very enjoyable. But yeah, so like after the montage, they zoom in onto their marital woes, their relationship woes in a doctor's office.
Yes.
Where Jason Bateman's character can't quite pump out enough the guys weren't fast enough.
Yes, it's purely he's got some kind of psychological thing that's possibly tied to stress.
A bunch of cum jokes.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was pretty hilarious. And this reminds me that every single little thread tied together. Because in the office there was like a running throwaway joke of their doctor not actually trying to help them, but actually just mining for information about his hot brother. Which is also great because it establishes that he's tired of talking about his hot brother that everybody else likes so much.
Right, because even his wife then goes like, oh yeah.
He's really tall. He looks like my husband, but really hot. Yeah.
He's got the chin, higher cheekbones.
Abs,
He's got higher cheekbones and a sharper jawline. That line later on was so good.
Really funny. But that comes back together, and spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, in a completely throwaway in the epilogue, she just is there at game night. And you're just supposed to remember that 2 hours earlier. She had like a little throwaway about it. Really funny.
It was really funny. But yeah, so it goes there, and it just follows like their relationship until,
So it starts with that, and that establishes that
there's a problem.
Jason Bateman's brother, early edition, is about to come to game night because he's in town.
Right.
And so they have their first traditional game night that Friday, where we establish what game night's usually like. Right. And so we get Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman. It's usually at their house, and then their friends. Lamorne Morris from Winston from New Girl. Yeah.
It was great.
Who was pretty funny.
I was glad to see him in something
yeah.
not completely dissimilar to Winston, but like a little.
It was kind of Winston.
It was kind of Winston-y,
yeah.
but a little more confident Winston.
That's true. That's definitely true. Well, because of the situation he was put in, he and his wife.
Right. So every couple in the game night has some sort of issue. Some issue.
Some trope
that
about them.
That needs to be worked out.
And everyone's paired off.
Right.
Everyone's player 1, player 2.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and he's the damsel. Aw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's the damsel in distress.
So yeah, the Lamorne Morris and his partner, whose name is something. Man. Kylie Burnbury.
Kylie Burnbury.
Kylie Burnbury. She was in probably an episode of Law and Order. So I don't know. Google
like everyone.
it. Yeah. I admittedly didn't look it up. I've never seen her in anything.
I've never seen her.
She was super pretty and she was very funny.
Yeah,
so,
she was really funny. Their relationship dynamic was really good.
Everybody had a great connection.
Yeah.
And none of the relationships seemed fake or forced.
No, they didn't seem forced at all. Like it was fake and like. Yeah, it was a really good, it's like, I could see how these two people would be together.
Yeah, and you could see how those two couples would be friends.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And their whole thing was they had been together since middle
school. They had been each other's only significant others for all of their lives.
And these are people that are in their late 30s?
No, I'd say mid-30s.
Mid-30s, yeah.
Yeah.
Like early mid-30s,
that
that
range.
range.
That they looked young. They seemed younger than the Rachel McAdams, Jason Bateman couple, but I think I'm only thinking that because it's hard to tell how old black people are. But it seemed like they were all supposed to be.
They're all supposed to be
age,
within like 30 to 37, I would say, would be a good range.
Yeah. Well, that's
Maybe
true because then the dumb blonde friend guy, Billy Magnuson, seemed a little younger.
He seemed a little younger, yeah. Maybe they never really explained like his relationship.
Yeah, it wasn't entirely clear why they're friends with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes after you've been friends with people for a long time.
Sometimes you just have that friend.
Yeah, sure.
And you're just like, all right, I guess we'll keep hanging out with you. You're not completely terrible, unlike their next door neighbor, Gary.
Yeah. So we also established that they've been having game nights for a while, and there used to be more people at game nights, like their other couple friends who used to live next door. But the wife got divorced, and now it's just the one guy next door who is Officer Gary, played by Jesse Plemons, Weirdo Todd from Breaking Bad.
And he plays Weirdo so good.
He steals every scene he's in. He steals every frame that he's in. It's so good.
You're just drawn to him.
Good.
Just drawn
so
immediately.
So creepy and so just committed.
Because like he opens like as he's just standing outside. Oh, he's at the mailbox.
He's at the mailbox
holding his dog
little
and
tiny dog,
and
he's like, some people check the mailbox earlier in the day. I check it later to like avoid the disappointment of the mailman not having come yet.
It's just so
and they're
good.
standing there with all their grocery bags, just like, we really would just like to go inside.
He's like, you're having another game night?
You have a lot of Tostitos. And then Jason Bateman's like, 3 for 1 sale, which comes back a great joke payoff later in the end credits.
Jesse Plemons goes in though, because he goes, I don't understand that business model.
Yeah,
how are they making money?
3 for 1. That doesn't make any sense. And they just keep talking about Tostitos an extended period of time.
Tostitos scoops.
Yes, scoops specifically.
Specifically for parties.
Yeah. every shot of him is just like slightly too long and has like a really slow,
it's lingering. Like he'll
dolly close up on his creepy face.
And it'll linger too. Like he'll end a sentence and it'll just stay there a second up for
so we can all feel
uncomfortable.
No one's saying anything and he's just not blinking and he's just looking at you. So good. So funny. All right, so they go to the brother's house for game night.
Right, yeah.
After lying to Officer Gary for like the 500th time that they're not having game night, no one's here, don't worry about it, leave us alone, creepy Officer Gary.
Creepy Officer Gary.
So they go to this brother's house where a game night ensues, and a guy comes in to start reading.
Right, because they're doing this big murder mystery.
They're doing like a live-action murder mystery thing. You got all the 3 different couples have their
dossiers.
Yeah, and so they assume it's going to be a big interactive like go outside.
And there's a joke earlier on their previous game night from the dumb guy about how rich people like to do elaborate games.
Oh yeah.
And very specifically likes to hire poor people to fight.
To Fight Club, to do like underground Django Unchained, like Mandingo Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were. I think they were prepared for something a little different. Although Jason Bateman brings like board games.
But yeah, and then Early Edition takes his board games and just throws them
and
like
I was
over
like,
his
no!
shoulder against the wall. Yeah, I was like, the pieces are gonna get mixed up.
You're never gonna find that one piece.
Which is the exact expression on Rachel McAdams' face. She's like, no. Yeah, and so game night starts, and then Brooks, Early Edition, gets kidnapped. And they're like, well, I guess the game's starting. And while it's happening, like something that is
an FBI agent comes in and clearly is like an actor.
It's clearly an actor because he's giving like a monologue that is like a little dry.
And he hands out like the little.
And then like two dudes burst in and like knock him unconscious. And
like they have a big drag out fight, and they're all just sitting there watching. Yeah,
there's a fight that destroys the whole mansion, and like people are getting shot and hurt and like hit and stuff like that. And
except for the glass table.
Oh yeah, and another running gag is that people keep getting thrown on glass tables. Everything else in the scene breaks except this one, like the main glass table.
Which I love that because that's such an action. That's such an action trope, an action movie trope, where they'll put them on the table and it'll break through.
It also kept with this thing that like the whole movie, the stakes are really, really high, but they keep acting like they're just players in a game, even though they feel that it's real.
Right.
But they still only know how to interact with it like it's a game. Like it's a game.
Yeah.
So like even though people are getting like murdered around them and dying, they're always like, why didn't that table break? That's a really strong table. Or like during the first action scene, they're all like talking about like cheese.
And his brother just getting. It was a good fight scene.
And they weren't even like paying attention because they're so into games. They're like, yeah.
They're like, great, this is good, very good acting.
The second they've decided the game starts, they all go off to their own quarters to cheat. Like so, they're like.
So they all cheat except for
the black couple, who is just like actually solving.
And they're actually solving
and like
the
really well and like efficiently, while everyone else is like, all right, so let's go bribe the makers of the game, and then
the most ridiculous.
Which is hilarious. They're like, oh, let's just go to the inn, let's go to the company at like 10 o'clock at night.
It's the dumb guy, and he brings a ringer basically. Because usually he brings a parade of.
He brings Sharon Horgan. The Irish actress from what's that show?
What is it?
It's on Amazon. I was watching it the other. Catastrophe.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like before he's been bringing like just any woman, a very specific type, and they show a montage.
But this time he wants to bring like someone to impress and help him
because it's Brooks.
Yeah,
it's at Brooks' place, so he wants to impress.
And it's going to be like a game of wits, and he wants to bring a smart person.
Right. He knows it's going to be. He's not completely an idiot. Like he just.
Well, clearly they like playing with him for some reason. So
he is quite endearing.
Yeah.
Like
it wasn't completely established why they like playing with him, but I trust their judgment.
I trust they like playing with him because he always loses.
That's fair. Yeah, they like to win. So, and I guess you need two more people to really make it interesting.
Because otherwise it would just be them against the black couple.
Yeah, exactly. There's just
Winston.
4 people.
I'm just going to say Winston.
Winston, yeah. Lamorne is his name.
Okay.
Let's just call him Winston.
And so like it was, and that would be a little awkward in the game night.
Yeah. So on the first leg of them trying to solve Early Edition's puzzle.
Right.
So Early Edition gets kidnapped, and Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman
steal
his iPad and then track his phone, and they're like, we're just gonna skip to the end, just go find him and be like, gotcha.
Which was brilliant.
Which was really funny and really great, and that's what I mean. It's cheating, but it's not cheating like the other people are cheating. It's like playing the game,
And
like
let's
they're
play
playing
the game
like
in a
4D chess.
Right. 4D chess.
4D chess.
But yeah, it was like a very witty way to like,
Yeah.
fuck this clue.
But yeah, that's the other thing. Every single situation, they got out of it using some kind of game strategy,
like some kind of like
tactic.
Like some kind of tactic.
Yeah. So like they get to where these kidnappers have taken his brother, and Rachel McAdams thinks she has a fake gun.
Yeah, because his brother drops it.
Exactly.
He was holding.
Yeah. So she goes through like a full improv scene where she's like, "Get down!"
Well, she does the opening from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, she does. And then she like is putting the gun like in people's mouths, and she's putting it in her mouth, and she's like dropping it and like spinning it around.
And they're at the bar, and it's like, look at these regional theater actors.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like hardcore biker bar.
Yeah, threatening people.
I'll see if he really knows how to be a bartender.
Exactly, and he orders a Harvey Wallbanger.
And he makes what looks like a pretty legitimate
Yeah,
Harvey
and
Wallbanger.
Jason Bateman's like, this is amazing. I don't even know what a Harvey Wallbanger tastes like. Wow,
So good.
So talented. He really did his research.
But yeah, so they're at this like big biker bar.
Yeah.
They see the car that kidnapped him, and they see his brother in the back
so
room.
they unintentionally hold up actual criminals and then go in the back to rescue the brother, who reveals that he's like, no, I'm actually not cool. I'm actually a super like
smuggler.
horrible con man, mega smuggler, and I'm actually even worse than that because I make all my money by conning all the other people.
Right, I make my money by conning criminals.
Yeah,
which is the worst thing.
And then I
you can
run
do.
away with lots and lots of money. And I'm very sorry. These people are going to kill all of us.
Right.
And then while they're doing that, there's my favorite shot in the movie happens where the criminals. They punch through the door to try to get the lock to open, and they're hitting it with a broom. And every time they hit the lock and it moves, the whole shot rotates 45
yeah, that was really
degrees,
cool.
And it does it every time until it gets 90 degrees around and the door unlocks. I thought that was so cool because a lot of the movie was like you're looking down on top of a board.
Oh,
and that was one of the
that's another like
most effective
cool.
uses of that. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, so then they use the powers of like racing games to like to speed away.
Yeah, they do. They are a car chase in their mini. No,
and it's Rachel McAdams driving the car because you also know in your brain that if Rachel McAdams and her husband Jason Bateman were playing like an arcade game, racing game, she'd probably beat the crap out of him.
Right. Right.
She'd
So
be
like,
really serious.
It brings
about
back. Actually, it does kind of everything gets brought. All the games they played in the montage kind of get brought back around a little bit. The racing game, like.
Yeah, they have to use the power of gaming to get themselves out of things.
Out of these troubles.
So they find out that that Brooks has sold a Fabergé egg to some other dude when he was supposed to give it to some other dude.
Right.
And so that
to the Bulgarian, or
he sells it to the Bulgarian when he should have given it to some guy,
other way,
Michael C. Hall. Yeah,
Michael C. Hall.
Yeah, he sells it to the Bulgarian when he should have given it to Michael C. Hall.
Right.
Yeah, who is named some other thing.
Dexter.
Yeah, so Dexter. So then they have to figure out how to get to the Bulgarian's house. So they have to go back to Officer Gary.
Right. At this point, everyone has figured out that it's legit.
Yeah, everyone on their own has figured out that this is real, that things that have happened were not a part of the game.
Right.
Yeah. So they all reconvene at Brooks's rented mansion where the police are there. And they're like, we can't talk to the police, so let's all just run away.
Right.
And they do that. And before that, though, Jason Bateman's been shot.
Oh, right.
And
I forgot about that. That was so good.
And they pull off to like a CVS so Rachel McAdams can like get stuff to pull the bullet out.
It was such a good scene.
So good. So good.
Like a realistic, like, what the fuck do you do?
Yeah,
like,
and she's like, she looks it up on YouTube. And she's like, I'm sorry, but this is like an alt-right militia site about how to remove gunshot wounds without going to the police.
How to remove a bullet from a gunshot
wound. So I have to like skip all the racisms and just read the informative parts.
And before that, they're like, we can go to a mob doctor. Do you know a mob doctor?
And she's like, no, we could go to a veterinarian mob doctor.
Do you know that?
Like,
no.
Oh, no.
But it was so like.
The best part of the scene is that there was no bullet in him at all. she had actually shot directly through his
arm. It was
arm.
a very clean shot.
Yeah, after she already does mini surgery on him and cuts him even worse.
Oh God, when she made that, she's like a little here.
They zoom in on a grotesque shot of her slowly with a scalpel slicing his arm open. It was horrible.
That is too far.
It was super graphic. There were children in the theater playing in the aisles. That was distracting. And then she turns his arm over. She's like, "Were you shot twice?" Because she sees the other hole.
No, that's an exit one.
After poking his bone, thinking it was the bullet. So funny.
But yeah, so then they all reconvene and figure out a plan to get this egg.
Get the egg. So to get the egg, they need access to police
to a
records,
police computer,
so they can figure out who the Bulgarian is.
The first instance of where Billy Magnuson's character actually had a good idea.
Oh yeah, well because his whole thing is he doesn't stop talking about overarching evils of of rich people
yeah.
and. So he's got a lot of conspiracy ideas.
Right, and he talked about his a girl he brought whose dad was a cop and knew about the computer info and how the cops had this crazy computer info.
Yeah, and which just happens to be sitting in Officer Gary's living room. Not his living room.
In his bedroom.
In his
shrine bedroom.
His office shrine to his ex-wife. So Jason Bateman goes so they go in the house and they pretend they want to play with Gary. And
they play a very long, tedious game of
Jenga. Really awkward one round of Jenga. And it's so
very
creepy.
Slow.
It's framed amazingly. Officer Gary is sitting in a throne, basically, in the center of the shot, very awkwardly, and they allow him to monologue creepily about his ex-wife to keep him occupied.
And while that's happening, Jason Bateman's on the computer.
Yeah.
He figures out the very easy password, Debbie, his wife's name.
The name of his wife, not even with numbers or capitalization, just Debbie. And while he's doing that, he's bleeding profusely.
Just all over the carpet.
All over the dog, all over the ground. And so, and you're like, how is he gonna get out of this situation where he's just the room is covered in gallons of blood.
Right, and that's a lot of this movie. You're like, how the fuck are they gonna turn this around?
And the best part is that they always just leave.
Which is what you would do. You'd be like, well, can't solve this problem. Bye.
Yeah, side quest done.
We'll deal with this later.
He just closes the door and leaves. So eventually, then they go and they get the Fabergé egg.
Right, they go to this rich guy's house.
And they have this great long extended chase scene inside of the mansion.
They're throwing this delicate, priceless,
a $45,000 Fabergé egg, like a football. And it shows how they all work together.
Right, how they're really good as a team, not just as competitors.
Exactly.
And,
yeah.
And it was really, and there's a lot of good moments of oh shit, they're gonna drop it. Oh,
but they're all useful.
But it was really well done, and that was really well shot too.
It was very well
shot.
That
felt video gamey, quick time event.
Yeah, it did.
Where you have to
You can tell that not only are they great individual partners, but you can tell that if there were some kind of game where you needed a bigger group, this is their core group.
This is their group. Yeah.
And that they have game night to hone their skills by practicing against each other.
Right, and even that new person who was given the
you should leave.
You should leave. You're not
getting
really part
really
of us.
intense.
This is you didn't sign up for this at all. No one here is your friend, really.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I'm gonna stick around.
Yeah, she's like, if I find out you all died, I feel really bad. So I'm just gonna hang out.
I'm gonna at least deal with it until I can't anymore. So they managed to get this Fabergé egg because again, another instance of Billy Magnuson's character being right.
Oh yeah. So they get to the mansion and they're like, where are all the people?
Because he immediately grabs a glass of wine from the caterer.
He's like, I am at home here, and then he's the one who wanders down to the basement where they're having rich people Mandingo fights. And
you can just see the look of
justification.
Just
I knew it.
Of righteous justice.
But when you watch the whole movie, everything else comes into different kind of focus, which we will get to later. But anyway.
Right.
They find the egg, they get the egg. And they're going to exchange the egg for
Brooks.
Because
he had given himself, so when they had rescued him, he then decided, he was like, look, you're not going to out-chase these people earlier in the movie. And he dove out the car after at least giving them all the
Yeah,
information.
he was trying to make it so they wouldn't be killed too.
Right.
He's like, this
he was
is
trying
my
to
fight,
do it.
go out of here.
He's trying to be a good big brother and
Yeah.
like sacrifice him. He's like,
Yeah.
I know I'm a shitbag.
Because he was also trying to be a good big brother from the whole point of game night,
right.
because we find out that he had rigged game night
So
to
that-
make it so Jason Bateman
Oh, right,
could
because
win.
when they go to when Billy and the Irish woman's
Yeah, at the beginning when when that couple tries to cheat by going to the
They get the
headquarters,
last-
they get the last clue, which is look in your
Your
jacket.
jacket.
And they're like, we're not wearing
Wearing
jackets, meaning that the last clue was something that only Jason Bateman could
right.
have found.
Because he knew that if he had actually played the game, they'd be the first ones
Yeah.
to get all the clues.
And
just
so,
get it.
yeah, and so in his jacket pocket is the keys to
This-
a sports car
that he's
he always wanted. And that they then use the keys to the okay. So wait,
let's
okay.
go back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're driving to drop off the
So
Fabergé
they've got the egg that we've been talking about for half a movie, and it's super priceless, and we've just risked all of our lives for it. And we're in the car, we're 15 seconds away.
You
In
can
fact,
see- you can
no,
see
they
the-
pass it, and
Oh,
they
right.
go, "Oh, where's the bridge? Oh, it's
shit,
over
we have to
there."
stop.
So Winston, who was driving the car, is like, "Oh crap, we missed it." So he stops so he can turn, and the egg flies from because they're in a minivan. It flies from the back row all the way to the front of the car and shatters on the windshield. And it was so funny.
It was fucking hilarious because they did this perfectly. It was the perfect reversal of like what had been going on.
You just spent 15 minutes to be like, oh, don't drop it, don't drop it.
Right.
Oh gosh. Because there were multiple scenes where it was like rolling on the edge of a ledge, like 3 stories in the air.
And anyone could have dropped. Anyone could have dropped it. And it was because they were also being chased by like fucking goons.
Yeah,
and,
like goons with guns and like big dudes.
Oh, that's so good.
And when they're safe and away with it, it shatters in the car from something completely stupid.
When the stakes aren't running, they're just dumb
it
people.
Shatters, and it's hilarious. So then they realize that the egg has been fake the whole time, and inside the egg is a list of names from the Witness Protection Program.
And that's really what.
That's the true value of the egg. So then they go to exchange the egg for the brother, and they're about to be murdered by the kidnappers because they're real terrible gangster people. And then Officer Gary comes to the rescue. Comes flying in, and he Dukes of Hazzards across the front of his car.
He does that sweet slide.
It's so funny because he shows up and he's super badass all of a sudden.
And it's all of a sudden because he's just like this kind of normal dopey,
and you can't tell
cop.
if he's just like a creepy murderer guy or like.
Right, you don't know like what the deal is. Like, is he there? How does he know about this? He figures out because of all the blood, he says. But like, that's what he says.
So he slides across the car. He murders two people, and like in just a very get out here, no, pew pew, and they're both dead.
Right.
And then they. Then they're like, oh, Officer Gary, we owe our whole lives to you.
Right.
And then Officer Gary gets shot, and then in his dying breath, he's like, promise you'll never exclude me from game night again. And they're like, anything, Officer Gary. You saved our lives, now you're dying in front of us, we'll do anything. And then Officer Gary laughs because he's faking it, and Officer Gary has coordinated this game within the game that we've been playing that you think is real life.
Right. So these two people that kidnapped Brooks were part of a game, just a more brutal game than what
they were a part of a game, just not a game that anybody that anybody in that room had organized. And Gary wanted them to know that he could be the ultimate at game night by offering them the ultimate experience
by hijacking
the hijack of game night. and Gary's playing 6D chess on top of all the other chess that's going on.
Oh man.
And then while you're laughing about how hilarious that is, Gary gets shot for real by an actual criminal.
By the Michael C. Hall character.
From the outside of the game within the game within the game.
But right before that, you see Gary goes like, oh, what about the Fabergé egg? And Gary's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What Fabergé egg? And they're like, the one we just stole from the Mandingo fighters.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? The thing in your game. And he's like, I don't know what you're
talking about.
And he gets shot, and he's like, and you think, oh, he's real dead now. And then Michael C. Hall, who is he refused to believe that this is not a game because
they're like, we're still in it.
Yeah,
we're
still in the Matrix. Like, this is still.
And they fucking poke his.
We're
wounds.
Inception. This is still a dream. And McAdams sticks her finger in his gunshot wound. It's like, It's real. I'm dying.
Right. So Michael C. Hall's there.
Yeah.
And fucking, he's like, give me the egg.
Yeah.
And fucking, he goes, but the egg's gone, blah, blah, blah. So
No, they give him the list.
So
they're
don't
they're
give
going
him-
to give him the list, and then Early Edition is like, actually, and he eats the list. And then Michael C. Hall's like, just cut it out of your throat then, goodbye.
Yeah, and so they take him and take him onto his
take
private
him
plane.
to a private plane where they're gonna have perform an esophageal removal of the
Just jab into his stomach.
Yeah, he's like, I'll just poop it out. They're like, we're not
gonna
poop's
wait.
disgusting.
I'd rather
Just cut it out of
gross.
you.
We'll just cut it out of you.
You're so gross. I'm not touching your poop. Get it right out of your stomach.
But yeah,
So then they have to do, it's escalated to the point
of
that they
actual
it's
shit.
Actual terrible. It's as high stakes as possible. We're beyond car chases with gangsters. Now we have to chase a plane down a tarmac in a sports car, and the plane's in the process of taking off. So you have to find, Jason Bateman has to slam the car.
His beautiful new car that he's always wanted.
Into the wheels of a speeding jet.
Taken 3.
Yeah. While Rachel McAdams goes, "You're not Liam Neeson." And then they do what is my favorite version of them having to use games
the fucking charades.
to say, because they're doing it in a faux subtle how you craft movies way, where every situation is a thing you have to get out with a game. But now they use just straight up charades to get Rachel McAdams
suppress this conveyor belt, which has to turn on the conveyor belt.
Yeah, which is gonna drop a heavy box.
Which is also a very video game-esque thing.
Do the things that make this.
And the guy's even there, just looking around with his gun.
Just standing immediately under it with his gun, just waiting
It was very framed, and they're crouched and hiding. It looked like a third-person, adventure game.
It definitely was, where it's just waiting for you to complete the
task,
in order to make the,
Right.
And then when she finally figures it out, it's
super loud and super slow.
It's not because it's real life, so it's not enough to actually kill him. He sees it and just slowly walks away. Why is this moving?
And that's another instance in this thing where everything is a game, and either the twist is that it is like a game, or the twist is it's completely not.
Well, then immediately after that, Rachel McAdams is battling a goon by herself outside, and he's about to shoot her in the face. And then the plane turns on, he gets sucked into the jet engine. She's like, yes! Oh, he died.
It's just such a good reaction.
Really amazing.
Because it's legit. You'd be like, yes, I fucking did it.
Yeah, I killed a man. It was so great. She was cheering purely out of joy,
joyful
If it
winning.
had been a video game, if it had been Halo, she would have been squatting on his corpse.
What was left of his corpse?
Yeah,
he gets sucked into the plane engine.
He didn't have a corpse to squat on. So.
So Jason Bateman had left because he was gonna go get the drop.
Yeah.
and get in through the open hatch on the top.
But it's not a video game, so he
can't just and drop in.
He crawls in all
It's this very slow opening as Michael C. Hall is just looking up at it.
And he kind of floops out of the top, what is the movie? Ace Ventura
Oh god!
2,
Oh, when
where
he
gets
fucking
pooped out of the rhino, and he just slowly gets birthed out and just kind of flops out. It was like that.
And so they have a fight in the plane a little bit, and then he's about to get his ass handed to him.
Yeah.
And Rachel McAdams comes in and saves the day. And goes, that's how you get the drop.
That's how you get the drop on them. Because she's a theater kid, and she was thinking of her line the whole time. While
she was 100%. She's like, I know what I'm doing.
And then the game within a game within a game within a game pays off one last time as we look at Michael C. Hall's tied up, hog-tied corpse. And then Brooks makes a joke about how this is also a game and how Michael C. Hall is about to get up because he's alive and
He's like, get up, get up.
And then there's a wide shot of all three of them looking at it, it's just corpse not moving. And it's so funny because, it's really dark. He's dead.
And Brooks is like, just gotcha. Just kidding.
Just gotcha.
That'd be great, though.
Just a dead guy.
That'd be great, though.
Oh, so funny. And then that's the end of the movie.
I mean, that's pretty much the end of the movie.
Then there's the epilogue where
Right.
we see Gary has survived.
Gary has survived.
And we find
now-
out why they hate Gary at game night so much. Just to keep it light. They hated Gary the whole movie just
Right.
because he's not fun
Funny?
to
Right,
to
he's just
hang
not
out
funny.
with.
He's depressing.
Well, he's not fun at game night.
Right.
He's bad at games. That's
Right.
why they don't hang out with Gary. So at the end, they're
playing
so
Pictionary,
Playing
yeah.
Pictionary, and Gary's just the worst at
He draws
games.
a picture.
Picture of himself
Crying.
watching
The Green Mile. Because the movie was The Green Mile.
You're supposed to get the Green Mile, and he's genuinely like, I don't get why you didn't get it.
Didn't you cry at The Green Mile?
Everybody cried in the Green Mile. How could you not get it?
Right. This is at Brooks's new
everyone's
place.
like, we hate Gary.
This is at Brooks's new place where he's under lockdown. He turns himself in, or has to.
But he
after this.
hasn't changed his ways.
Right, you
'cause,
find out that he's still a scumbag.
He pooped out the list,
List.
and he's not above digging through poo. So he dug through his own poo, and he sold. He tipped off the
all the people on it
the list
for 20 grand.
For 20 grand each, and then sold the list for like millions of dollars. So he's still scamming people.
He's still a shithead.
He's never learned.
And then you find out.
Jason gets over his thing
Yeah.
because you realize his sperm impotence was about his jealousy of his brother.
Right, his inferiority, his supposed his inferiority complex, even though he had nothing
now
to do.
his brother, now he knows his brother actually feels inferior to him because
right.
he's straight and narrow. Who else learns things?
There's a running gag about Winston and his girlfriend.
Who have been together since middle school,
And he finds out.
They play Never Have I Ever, and she says that she slept with someone else, a
Right.
celebrity, and he stresses over who it is.
And then and then they find out she
turns-
says it's Denzel Washington.
She thinks it's Denzel.
And they do a very
Washington,
nice
but
flashback
yeah,
of, like-
they do a flashback to some dude who's clearly not Denzel. And
But they did a good job of like being like a look-alike enough, but not quite.
No, that's racist.
I
thought the whole joke was that he looked nothing like Denzel, and that's why it was funny.
Maybe I just haven't seen Denzel in a while.
He looked nothing like Denzel. Yeah. That's why it was funny. She slept with him when she was like 18.
Right.
She didn't know what he looked like, and it's hilarious. So anyway, it turns out it's not him, and that's how their emotional arc ends.
Right, and they're all good and stuff.
They're all good friends. They have game night forever. So we liked it.
It was good. It was a really good movie, and like I thought it was a lot of fun. I really like games and gaming and stuff like that, and I think it very played toward that sensibility.
Yeah.
And like dark humor and just like really interesting things that I've never seen done before.
Yeah, it appealed to me a lot. I felt like they subverted a number of tropes, and oftentimes by just ramming them into the ground multiple times until at the last one they did it, it was the opposite.
Right.
And that's why it was funny. And I mean, almost every single joke made me laugh. There wasn't an extended period of time where I was like, well, that
there wasn't like a solid where you're like, all right, can we move this scene along?
Yeah.
Like everything was really funny. Even Chelsea Peretti as the woman who runs the murder.
As one of the employees of the murder place, she has like a gunshot wound in her head and she's napping at her desk and they're like, oh my God, you're dead. And she's like, no.
The fucking slow bribe.
Oh, also she was pregnant and they're like, wow, that's really dark, like a pregnant corpse. She's like, oh no, I'm pregnant in real life. This isn't a part of it.
And just Billy Magnuson slowly trying to bribe.
He's trying to bribe her with $17.
And he does it, and that's a very like movie trope where he's like slowly.
And it's framed where you just have to wait like 30 seconds for the dollar to slide into the screen.
It's then framed like how you would lay out Monopoly money.
It is, yeah. And they like slowly one at a time.
Because it's a 10 and then a 5.
And a 5 and then like two ones.
And the last one is so slow.
Yeah,
they don't even let it get into frame.
They just cut it.
So it doesn't matter how slowly you push that money.
Funny.
But yeah, that's the movie. And it was butthole time.
I liked it an awful lot. Yeah. I thought it was funnier than it should have been.
I agree.
I think it was definitely a much better movie than it needed to be.
I agree. I feel like not a lot of people are going to see it
the
either.
dudes who wrote it are writing Flashpoint.
Oh.
So maybe that means we'll get a little
humor in that Flashpoint.
Lego Batman's Robin style Flashpoint movie. That's how I feel about New Flash.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It was surprisingly fucking really good.
Yeah, surprisingly pretty funny, well written.
Well written, like it didn't feel stale.
Didn't feel stale at all.
Didn't feel unoriginal. Like,
No.
It was really well done.
I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot.
So honestly, I would give it 2 buttholes.
All right.
Yeah,
All
I'd
right.
say you should see it. 2 buttholes, got 2 hands. 2 buttholes, 2 hands.
All right. Oh yeah. I'm gonna give it a tight butthole.
Yeah.
A tight butthole.
See, I just give it 2 buttholes.
Just 2 regular buttholes.
Maybe they're a little. They're not loose at all.
They're not loose.
They're sturdy buttholes.
Sturdy buttholes. I'm gonna give it 1 tight butthole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what our system means, but that's what it is.
I don't think it means anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it means deal with it how you wish.
I think it means I saw that movie and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you should see it too. Use your non-denominational film
Yeah,
cards.
seriously, go see it. Give this
Yeah.
movie a little bit of money
I
with
think
your
you
card.
should see it, yeah.
Like, because they should make more movies like
I
this.
think you shouldn't wait for Netflix
No,
for
yeah.
this one. I think
because
that
like
this
if you
is a
have the
huge-
card, that's
yeah.
gonna be like it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna make the movies
I think
go
it's one
up.
of those. I think it's one of those like cute, fun.
It's a good, cute, fun date night
date
movie.
night movies.
It's a
There we go.
solid date night
movies.
movie.
Date night, game night.
Yeah, date night, game night movie.
Game night,
yeah,
date
if you have a gaming group, go see this
Oh
movie.
yeah, you'll like it.
You'll like it a
Yeah.
lot. Like seriously,
Yeah.
it plays to all of those
It
sensibilities.
does.
So yeah. All right, I think that's it for this
Yeah,
week.
so that concludes another episode of Movie Passholes. I'm Salmon.
I'm Romo.
See you next week.
See you next week.